Yo, what's up?
Thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of the Here's the Crack podcast.
If you can follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, help us get into those charts. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button.
And while you're there, leave a lovely comment. Tell us what this podcast means to you. If there's any funny bits, any guests, we'd love to hear about it. Just drop a comment. We're always watching. Let's get into the podcast. The TikTok house. I know you've already said it, but explain what it is again.
I kind of wanted it to be a space where they don't have to post specific ads, but I want the content to be as organic as possible. So there's a reason why no one's done it before.
I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was like someone was playing a joke at the first point. I'm not gonna lie, that.
Here's the crack, here's the crack, here's the crack, here's the crack, here's the crack. Welcome back, talking shit, I'm drinking wine, like and subscribe. Here's the crack.
How's it going, people? Welcome back to another episode of the Here's the Crack podcast. Another podcast, another guest. We've got Chloë Henning on. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Now, I think once I say that, some people will be like, "Who's that?" But we'll get into that in terms of do you have a little icebreaker question?
It's the same question every day.
We always ask an icebreaker question. So,
What's your go-to hangover food or like cheat meal?
Oh my goodness. So when I'm hungover, all I want is chocolate milk.
What's the
Chocolate
wrong
milk.
one?
Yeah, no,
No food or
Any
anything?
particular chocolate milk one?
no particular chocolate milk, just chocolate milk. Do you know what? I'll do a milkshake. If there's a milkshake going, I'll do you know Cookie Box on the Lisbon Road?
Yeah.
I'll go there and get a nice big
Yeah.
chocolate, sugary, I don't know, there's just something about it that just fixes me.
Yeah.
Or I'll go for a Mr. Grey out of Slims if I'm being good.
What's that?
It's like a protein shake with frozen yogurt in it.
Very healthy.
I know.
wow, most people are like, salt. Give me salt, and more salt.
In fairness, there's nothing better than a Maggie Mays milkshake after.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
stop it.
Yeah.
What is it? This
That
Snickers
changed
one?
my life.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That changed my life. The first day I was ever up here, and the day Sunday after, you were like, "Come on, we'll go get a Maggie Mays milkshake." And I walked up the road, and I was like, I'm not well. Like, I just want to go home as soon as I lips touch that straw. It changed my life forever. Like,
Wow.
magical. But for obviously some people listening to this will be like, "Who's that?" I think probably the best way to describe it is, well, you obviously done your own stuff before what you're doing now, so a lot of people will be familiar with the name VAVA.
Yes.
We've had a few people on here, a few TikTokers and stuff. Matthew McGeady. We were actually talking about this before you guys came over. Matthew McGeady, India, and Joel, and Ariana.
Bernadette, no. Is she?
Bernadette.
Yeah.
Oh, did she mention us as well?
Yeah, I think so. There's
I'm not
has
sure.
been
A
a
few
fair
people.
few people have like left the door. We're like, and they're like, "Oh, well, we work with VAVA," and we're like, "All right, okay." So your background is what you were originally,
So I actually did a fine art degree.
right?
When I was in school, I was very creative. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So I kind of just went with what I was good at. I was creative. I then went to art college, did a fine art degree. During that, I kind of was working in the blogger sphere. I was very into Instagram when I was like 16, 17. I'd grown a following. I was managing other brands' social media platforms. So that's kind of where my background there comes from. And then eventually that kind of led into what I do now, which was a big step for me at the time. So I set this up, well, me and Francesca set this up when we were both at uni.
Do you find there's any translation between that, doing the fine art degree and what you do now?
Well, I'm the creative head, and then Francesca she did a business degree, so she's the business head. We're yin yang. I couldn't do it without her. She couldn't do it without me. I come up with the nuts ideas. She keeps me in line and tells me, "Chloe, we have budgets. You can't spend that. Like, what are you doing? We have to please the clients." And I'm like, balloons, unicorns.
And so, like, going back to the VAVA thing, like, because we were briefly talking about it before, obviously they came in, what was it that made you go, right, we need to start something here? Because I think it has took a lot of traction. Like a lot of people do know what it is, and it's such a short space of time as well.
It is, yeah.
So, like, explain how you kind of grew that in terms of starting it to, because it is quite niche, like not everybody from up here, like you said yourself, it's something that you see kind of in America or England or even Dublin, like, but it's nothing really you've seen up here, like an influencer, because I think people kind of, they hear that word and they immediately go, they don't like it, like, but it is a thing. So
I started taking my business partner Francesca as my plus one to like influencer events, and she kind of quickly pointed out, like, seems like it's all done kind of very ad hoc. There doesn't seem to be anyone doing this on a professional level. Like, is there an agency managing like the Northern Irish influencers? And there wasn't an influencer marketing agency, a dedicated influencer marketing agency in Northern Ireland. There was in Dublin. There's lots in London. We were just a step behind, as we usually are. So we kind of took that as an opportunity to kind of jump on that. And it is the same with the TikTok house. I mean, we just took it as an opportunity. If we didn't do it, someone else would.
Yeah. It wouldn't be too long until eventually. Because I feel like over here it's getting to the stage where so many people are doing it that it's hard to just ignore it. Do you know what I mean? Like there's so many people and even a year or two ago, like it was still, there were people, especially over lockdown, like you blew up on TikTok. I'm surprised you're not involved in this.
One video.
She's like, I thought I knew you.
Recognized you.
Not even me. It's my wee brother too. Wasn't even me. Painted his head and stuff.
No, I spend my entire life in the depth of corners of TikTok. There's very few people that I haven't like stumbled across them.
Did you see Thomas's videos over lockdown?
Definitely not.
You'll have to send me them.
They're all deleted.
Yeah, they're all deleted.
I think everyone was in a different mindset over lockdown.
Yeah.
Head was gone. But do you feel like there is like in terms of businesses, businesses are becoming more open to like using influencers and stuff in Northern Ireland? Because like I find like even there's still businesses that wouldn't have social media channels, like still wouldn't like backwards like that way.
No, I mean that's actually quite a difficult question, because some are.
Yeah.
Some will throw a bit of money at it and some won't. Some are still very much, I don't know what it is about Northern Ireland and traditional marketing, they just love it so much, and we find it really difficult to actually find clients that are willing to believe in influencer marketing and believe in a consistent strategy. Like, people tend to think that ad spend on Facebook, for example, they know that you have to have a consistent long-term strategy for Facebook ads to work and for you to start to see a return on that. Whereas influencer marketing, it's hard to kind of manage their expectations, because they think, oh, an influencer will post about my product and I'm going to go viral tomorrow and I'm going to sell out and it's going to be amazing. So when you don't kind of deliver those expectations, then it can be hard for us to kind of manage them and that kind of thing.
What's the approach there whenever like something, like say they give you a figure that they want and it doesn't deliver as you said? What's the approach after that?
We try and be very upfront with that in our initial client meetings. We do have stats from previous campaigns that we will show clients and tell them what they are to expect roughly. And we also do look at the engagement rates of like influencers on previous campaigns and kind of try to manage expectations as much as we can.
It is hard though, with like, even like we know ourselves from posting TikToks and stuff, like some will just do good and some won't, like, so it's hard to like guarantee that you're going to get.
People in Northern Ireland are starting to, they do believe in the whole Instagram influencer. It's even harder to get them to use TikTok influencers. And I think that's kind of one of the things that helped us grow as an agency, is that we started working with TikTok influencers before a lot of other marketing agencies even. So that's probably why a lot of the TikTokers have come on and said about us, because I was straight on there having a wee nosy at them all, which has proven great for us, because then they grow on Instagram as well, because they get that organic growth on both platforms. But it is difficult to get clients to invest in TikTok influencers. It is hard.
I suppose if you've got like a 50-year-old sort of business owner, they're probably looking at it and going, I'm not paying for like what they kind of see, like, because a lot of them are young, like a lot of them, like, you know what I mean, they're probably like, I'm not paying for him to go out. And because I even find, I worked for a company way back, and I was saying about like doing photos and doing videos and stuff and doing walk rounds of the products, and it was almost seen as like oh yeah, so I'm going to pay you to go out and dick about with a camera all day, and you're like, Lo and behold, you can't just take a photo on a Nokia 3310 and stick it in the Ulster Tatler or something and it'll do well. Like, you know what I mean? It's all.
But
it's
people
all
still have
online.
that mindset.
Yeah.
People do.
Is there any hard sales? Like, have you had to do some real hard sales, or is there some who just like, yep, 100%, I wanna do it?
No, you always kind of have to justify it and kind of look at examples. And I mean, that's kind of why we moved the masterclasses geared towards businesses to kind of teach them about the organic reach that you can gain from TikTok and organic video content. So that's kind of what we've geared the masterclasses, the VAVA masterclasses to now, is kind of teaching business owners, as small business owners and marketing managers, about the value behind organic reach that you can get on TikTok, and then repurposing that content to bring it over to other channels as well. So yeah, it's a hard battle, kind of trying to tell people this is really, really good for your business.
The Haymarket one was a success.
Yeah, that was a great success.
I think was it Matthew had put up something. I think someone had commented and been like, "Why have you done this?" And he was able to show like they'd grown like a certain number of stats, which was pretty.
The stats for that were really, really good. It's because it was the first event in Belfast where everyone was posting TikToks about it. I think India's TikTok got like 500,000 views. Like, there was a couple of good TikToks that came out of it, and it seemed to be on everyone's For You page in the area, which kind of let some of our clients, it kind of made them believe in the TikTok thing, and they were like, right, well, can you do that for us now? It kind of was a really good case study for us in the Belfast area, that TikTok it's a platform that you need to wake up and be aware of.
What was the sort of idea? The masterclasses, was it more for business or was it for creators as well, or was there a mixture of both?
The vision for that was kind of initially a mixture for both. I wanted them to kind of be a space where creators could talk about their experiences on the platform, how they've grown, what their tips and tricks are, and for that to be both businesses and content creators. The uptake for that was mostly on the business end. And businesses, we found that they were coming at a very basic level and a very basic knowledge of the platform, and they wanted nearly an introduction. So then going forward, we did our second masterclass on a TikTok's fundamentals, which we basically taught them why you would download it, who the demographic are, what the kind of general vibe on the platform is, how to create TikTok content. And we did kind of keep that creator element going, but then we also geared it, and we had Ardmore come in and do a talk on paid ads as well. So we did kind of focus it more on business and marketing managers. So that's just where that went. But I still wanted the thing where I wanted the yes, I wanted the balloons. I wanted the TikTok creators to be able to come together and do something really fun and create content together. So yeah.
Why VAVA? Why did you call it VAVA?
Oh, it was so hard to pick a name. We were going to call it FMCH. That's our initials. But it sounded way too
Doesn't
like...
have the same ring to it.
No.
Sounds like you're going to...
We are two young 24-year-olds.
Yeah.
Exactly. We didn't want it to sound...
You'll be hearing from my solicitors, FMCH.
I know. Exactly. It sounded like a well-established solicitor. It did. It sounded like we were like two 40-year-olds, you know? Not two young, female, creative. Yeah. We wanted it to be fun. The symmetry we thought was nice. Another name that we had thrown around was Popcorn Agency. Like, we wanted something a wee bit fun. And we just really liked the symmetry. And we had work with a really good branding guy that helped us kind of create the logo, which I'm still really happy about. So yeah.
Whenever you started out, did you find it difficult, like gaining like customers in the way that you're so young?
Yes and no.
Did it sort of find you like not take you seriously?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, well, to be fair, when we first started out, I had a really good network on the blogger side. So I am really thankful that a lot of my influencer friends kind of supported me and kind of helped me along and did wee bits for me, especially when we were finding our feet a wee bit, pricing wise and everything. It's one of the hardest things about setting up a business is trying to figure out your price points and what do you charge and what do you pay them, and like, do you charge for your time and what would you charge for your time? And that's one of the most difficult things that I found about setting up a business. But yeah, it is kind of, we have found it a wee bit difficult to have clients take us seriously sometimes, because I was 22 when it was set up. So I'm a 22-year-old.
So you probably had older people coming in with like older established businesses too, and being like, oh,
But
seeing you then.
my business partner Fran, I'm a wee bit airy-fairy, floaty about, creative, but she is very good on meetings. You wouldn't mess with Fran. No.
She'll come on, eh?
She's great. She's really, really great.
Fran's outside the door now with a stick. We asked her
Fran's poking me under the table right now. No, she's really, really good. So it is hard to not take Fran seriously, but we have seen a little bit of it. But I think it's something that we are overcoming as we get more success stories. But it's something that everyone finds hard. When you first start out, you'd have no case studies, you've no previous work that people recognize.
You're looking for someone to take a chance on you, so you can start to build a portfolio on it. Almost like,
It's probably a scary thing too, because businesses are probably investing a lot of money and then expecting return from it.
Yeah, it was
Pressure.
there was a lot of pressure, and it did take us a while to kind of find our feet and become good at it. And find our price point. We were not charging people half and half. It's really hard. You do tend to undervalue yourself, especially when you're in uni. You're used to being skint. You're not used to dealing with large amounts of money. It's hard to put a price point on it, especially when you're not used to that kind of service business as well.
I was reading, I don't know if it was you or Francesca said in like the Belfast Live article, it's harder to like increase your price, but or is it the other way around, something about price, and it was like it's harder to like bring your price up if you set it so low type of thing. It
wasn't me that said that. That sounds like Francesca. That sounds like a little bit of Francesca knowledge. But it is hard to raise your prices, especially when you're working with like the same clients. Like imagine you can't really underprice yourself and then be like, oh no, like I accidentally like that wasn't enough for the amount of time that we spent on that. It's not worth it. It would be really hard to go back and be like, actually, the next time you do this, I'm gonna have to raise it by like 50%.
And suppose as well, if you've maybe been to a business, like even though we're talking about like the power of social media and the internet and stuff, some of it, because it's up here, it'll be word of mouth. So if you've market, say, turn around and going, oh, they done this for X amount of money, and a business owner comes and then suddenly it's double, they're a bit like, oh, you're sticking the arm in me here. So I can almost imagine. Do you feel like because obviously, like you've said yourself, like you're a bit more sort of creative and not as sort of, wouldn't even say business line it, but like not as sort of straight line as what your business partner would be, but do you think it's something that you've kind of like developed your skills on? Like, has there been times where you've been in a meeting and just shut someone down and she's been like, you go girl?
No, I'm really bad, to be quite honest. I forget sometimes that I do this for money. Like, I forget that I'm just not doing this for the crack. Like when we're doing the TikTok house especially, I'm like sitting so excited and organising it all and like getting things done, and then like Fran's like, how much have you spent and like how much sponsorship money have we brought in? And I'm like, oh no,
we're making money from this.
I forget.
I suppose you could probably enjoying it though, like, and that's part of the whole thing.
Oh like, it's so fun. It is. It's really, really good.
If you enjoy what you do, you never work a day in your life, or something along the lines of that.
Yeah, you'll never work.
Moving.
Absolute touching.
Well, if you'd ask my parents, I think that they think I'm a stay-at-home daughter, because they're like, what do you do actually? I haven't even bothered trying to fully explain to them what influencer marketing is. And see, like when I have told them that I'm doing this TikTok house, and they're kind of like, okay. I think they think I'm doing some kind of like metaverse house or something. I don't think that they know that it's gonna be a real thing. But yeah,
let's get into it, because I don't think I actually recorded the first bit where we're talking about the TikTok house, so we'll maybe circle back to that. So the TikTok house, I know you've already said it, but explain what it is again. Okay,
so the TikTok house, so basically we are doing a 1-week pop-up where 8 influencers come into a Hagen home development and live together and create content together. I kind of wanted it to be a space where they don't have to post specific ads. There are different brands coming in doing sponsored activities, but I want the content to be as organic as possible. So they have full creative control over everything, and they have a week of activities and nighttime parties and brunches and fun things that they're doing. So yeah, it's going to be a very full-on week, and it's a 1 week pop-up. I don't think I could last any more than a
Has it
week.
been stressful? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, it's the first. There's a reason why no one's done it before.
yeah,
Number one, it's really hard to get. It's expensive to run something like this. You need to feed, entertain. Like, there's a lot of things that go into putting in.
There's 30 people going through it. Like, it wouldn't
Yeah.
be cheap feeding and water and them.
yeah. Plus, as well as that, you also have to think about like a lot of them are off a younger like demographic, and you're basically giving them a free house. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, right? Do they actually have to go in? Like, are there any stipulations, or can they just go in and just like have a free run of it?
They can and they can't, but I do have a few house rules.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to drinking and stuff.
Yeah.
There's a few things that I'm gonna have to put in place to make sure that nobody makes a scene on me. that could go badly, but no, we do have some house rules, and they do have an itinerary, so
Yeah.
I am going to leave them at certain points.
6. Yeah.
No, not at 6. I haven't started any of the days earlier than 10:30.
Yeah.
So I think I'm fairly nice. That's
Yeah.
for me and them.
Yeah.
If I was organised, I'd be blowing an alarm through the house at like
Oh,
6
wait.
o'clock in the morning.
Well, I'm not-
Francesca finds out the itinerary, and she's like, "Why do you not have these guys up at 5:30 doing press ups and running 50
You only need 3 hours sleep.
I
be
know
fine.
they're only young ones, so I
Yeah.
mean,
Grand.
no, the later start was for my benefit too. Like, I really don't.
There probably still will be people who won't make it up by 10:30 though.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I wasn't risking it. I was like, if the bus is sitting there at 11 o'clock and they aren't on it, it's just going to stress me out. I'm just going to
Yeah.
give them later starts.
Yeah. So, like, what kind of were you just sitting one night and thought this hasn't been done before, and just started looking into it, and is it one of them ideas that kind of just kept growing and growing and growing, or was it?
So last summer, we did the launch of a new bar in Belfast called Haymarket. And after that, I had kind of realised none of the TikTok influencers in Belfast have met each other. And I was like, I really want to do something for TikTokers all over Ireland. None of them have met each other. None of them know who each other are. They really loved it when they came together at Haymarket and were able to meet each other, and they were all fangirling over each other. It was really nice to see. And I kind of wanted to be a part of that, and VAVA to be a part of that process. So I had wanted to do something to get content creators all in the one room. Now, the VAVA Masterclasses that we launched then a couple of months later, that was kind of supposed to be what that was. Content creators being able to come together, have other content creators speak, share their stories, share their tips and tricks. That took a different spin. So that was fine. We tailored them for business owners and marketing managers, which was completely fine. That's another wee baby itself. But then I still had wanted to do something where I got people together to make content and do something really fun and creative. So then I'd be seeing all these English houses and the American houses, and I was like, ooh, we got to do something. So then the opportunity kind of like just fell on us, and we had a meeting with Hagen Homes. We pitched it, and they were like, I don't really know what this is, but go ahead.
Seriously? That's the one thing I would have been thought would have been the hardest, is like actually getting someone to give you a house.
It has been a wee bit tricky. Thankfully, Hagen Homes are very creative in their marketing, and they have a really good marketing manager that has been behind our backs the entire way. But we have had to go in and like pitch it to people and explain, and we do have other sponsors because it's an expensive project to run. So we have had to do a little bit of rallying money in other ways from other different sponsors. So that has been challenging, and it's been difficult explaining the concept. Thankfully, when the press came out, there was a good bit of buzz, and lots of brands did want to get involved then. But yeah, the first time it's been a wee bit difficult to get people behind it.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was like someone was playing a joke at the first point. I'm not gonna lie. At the start, I seen Shane Todd posting about it, and then said something about a Bebo house.
Bebo
Yeah,
Bebo bungalow.
Yeah, Bebo bungalow. And I went, oh yeah, fair enough. And then I kept seeing more and more about it. And then when I actually looked into it, I was like, well, this is actually a
it's
thing.
happening.
Like, this is actually happening.
No, to be fair, see, when all the press came out, I was like shaking. I was like, oh no, this actually has to happen now.
Yeah.
It's one of those things.
But that's
where
just not in a
it's
bad
something
way.
in
That
my
I was saying
head.
that as in like, oh, like it's like I do get it from like even like a brand point of view. Like if you were a brand and you were sitting on that, you'd be like realistically, if one of these people, you know, uptakes, you know, a product in that house or a service that we're providing or whatever, like, and even 3 of them get 500,000 views, that's reach. Like,
Yeah.
so I
There's
do
a lot of
understand
reach.
it, but I think it was just more like I couldn't believe that because up here, like, because over here is kind of so behind with that, they don't understand it. I was like, this is, how has someone immediately went, yeah, this'll catch in Northern Ireland? Because if it were me, I'd be like, yeah, no, that is.
No, it's not a thing. To be honest, I've been kind of pitching it to like very open brands that they know that people are sick of seeing influencer ads.
Yeah.
They're sick of seeing regular, boring influencer ads. We need to get a wee bit out of the box. Come on. We need to do something fun. So it's a really, really cool way to kind of get your products in front of a new audience. And I mean, the reach that's going into the house, there's over 20 million followers between them all. So that's a mad number for Northern Ireland.
How many people's going into it?
So there is 8 main residents. And then, so we're doing different day activities and nighttime activities as well. And I'm inviting additional influencers to join on. So there's the guts of about 30 influencers altogether that's being involved in some shape or form. Yeah, I
That's
know
a lot of managing.
it's a lot of managing. Yeah, it's a lot.
Can you give us like an idea of, they're obviously in the house for a week, what sort of stuff will they be getting up to?
So they're going go-karting at Nuts Corner. They're going up north to the Giant's Causeway and to distill their own gin. They are having themed parties from brands such as Be Bold Tan are coming in to do a, if I can remember, Truth or Be Bold. So they're going to make them do dares based on tan. You might see people very, very orange by the end of that one.
Nice.
They're also going like skydiving and doing the ninja course at Vertigo, the indoor skydiving. No, I'm not going to make you jump out of planes.
I'd be a hard
That
no.
would
like,
be sick,
I wouldn't
though.
do that.
No.
That'd be sick.
They're doing like beach days with lifestyle brands and doing like paddle boarding races and stuff. So a big thing that I've kind of forgotten to mention, and I've only really kind of mentioned it on social today, is that there's actually 2 houses.
What?
Oh,
Oh.
it's good.
I know.
That's what I was
plot
gonna
twist.
say. If there's 8 people and 30, like, are they?
Yeah, so there's
It's a
I'm
load of
just
bunk
imagining,
beds.
right? And I was like,
In-
I may be coming across really like a dickhead here, but like, if you were messaging me and I was like an influencer and you were like, right, you're gonna, and then I walked in and you were like, right, you're bunking with this guy, like, and I
know.
didn't know, you'd be like,
no. I,
lad, like,
Not ideal.
I've thought about all these things. These are all things that I've had to consider. So no, they don't have to share rooms. They don't have to bunk together. We have 2 side-by-side show homes that are
I see them
fully
pop over the fence.
kitted out,
Yeah.
fully kitted out. And the 2 houses are going to kind of compete against each other during the week.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's going to be like a
Exciting
Love
stuff.
Island villa,
yeah,
Castle Moore sort of.
kind of a wee bit. A wee bit.
Imagine if like a TikTok relationship comes out of it and you're like the
I could come to the wedding.
yeah.
You could plan the wedding.
Yeah.
No.
The budget would be fucking
I
sky high.
know. Swans. Ice sculptures. It'd be mad. But yeah, no, I mean, goodness knows what's going to happen. It's going to be fun
Have you got
anyway.
any like wee twists or surprises for them that they don't know about, or?
Yeah, there's to be fair, I haven't really told them very much. I haven't told
Yeah.
them that there's 2 houses. I haven't told them who else is going. I haven't told them the itinerary. Actually, I told them that I was going to send them the itinerary today.
Do
But
they
I just
know?
didn't do
Do
it.
they not know who else is going in the house with them? Really?
No.
Wow.
my God,
It's
that'd
like
be
Big
interesting.
Brother.
Surely
Hope
there's
there's
a
no
wee
beef
click
or
off them though.
There is.
like,
The Dublin ones especially, they all kind of know of each other.
So the question I have for you was, or is it just going in and it's like they're recording TikToks, or are you gonna like place cameras around the house and kind of like record the whole? Obviously,
not-
there's only
I'm not creepy enough to place cameras around the house. This
Just
is
one or
not.
2. Be fine.
Just-
yeah, just
the
capture
showers.
some drama.
No, I'm not going to place any. I actually don't see when I shut the door at night. I don't want to know what goes on.
And lock them in.
Lock them in. You start
People just
leaving.
crawl at the door in the morning.
No, there's no little creepy camera situation that's going on. I might make them record a wee diary, which was what an idea, kind of like Big Brother vibes, where they can go into like the bathroom and like do a wee diary for me. I might make them all do me a wee diary and see who's they're getting on with, how they're finding it, good or bad or the ugly. I'm gonna do a couple of TikTok lives during the week, but no placement of cameras.
And can you drop any hints or give any clues to like who people can expect to see in the house?
Ooh. So I'm gonna say that there's a guy called Joe that's from Belfast. There's a girl called Emma from Derry. There is a girl called Shanice from Dublin. There's a guy called Daniel from Dublin. There's lots of other locals that you might,
I think there's a few names there. People don't know who it is.
Yeah, there's a good few that are gonna be making an appearance at the house. So it should be fun, and I'm really excited for them all to meet each other. I think it's going to be really fun, as long as they all like don't fall out. But that was
proper beef.
That was what I was kind of worried about. I am kind of worried about them falling out, but I kind of made it a week because you can be nice to anyone for a week long period.
No, you definitely.
Yes,
you can't.
You can.
Definitely not.
Suppose they can just switch houses.
Expect beef.
Yeah, you can just go into the other house.
Someone's sleeping downstairs or something on the sofa because.
This is why you need the cameras in case there is beef.
Yeah, exactly. This is prime. You're missing out.
We're hopefully gonna have a Netflix series next year if the drama goes well.
But like, and obviously they're going to be doing all these activities, so they're not going to be in the house like the whole time. Like, if that makes sense. They're
not going to be caged in together. It's not going to be a Love Island situation. Yeah. They're going to be out and about around Belfast, around different places in Northern Ireland as well. So they're not going to be caged in. We're not going to tell them that they can't leave. If they want to get a taxi into town after one of their evening parties, they totally can. Like, we're not going to
be not like locked in the house, like, and that's it. Like,
and like, how are you going to manage all this content like that's being filmed? Like, is that really up to them to put everything out then?
Yeah. So because of the way I wanted to do it, I wanted to keep the content as organic as possible. Other TikTok houses, the influencers had to post specific ads that from sponsors. I haven't done it like this. I'm doing it completely organically. Just whether that's going to work or it's not, I don't know yet. We'll find out. But yeah, it's going to be completely organic content. The influencers have been given brief guidelines, rules and regulations of the house. But apart from that, it's going to be completely organic.
Yeah, very good.
And in terms of it, because obviously with the concept you're gonna have like exactly like how I would respond to it and being like, this isn't like, this couldn't be real and all this here. The people who are, because obviously with doing things online, and we know, and anybody who does like any type of social media stuff will know that there comes the negative side of it, which is people pure bashing you. How have you handled that? Because like, I obviously have seen things online which is like, a bunch of these people in a house, what the heck, like, waste of time and all this here. So like, what would your sort of, how do you handle that negative side of that, where it's kind of people who don't understand what you're actually trying to achieve in terms of, I suppose whenever people are looking at it, they're looking and going, why are you just putting a pile of people in a house? Whereas like, obviously from your side, there's a business reason to you doing that. It's just not a free for all. Yeah. So what's kind of your response to that when you see people?
It's obviously a wee bit disheartening. I mean, I kind of like the fact that people are talking about it. It's kind of creating a build up in their heads of what's going to happen. And I have it in my head that it's going to be really good and show them all that it's a really fun new way of marketing products and like brands getting involved with influencers. So I kind of have it in my head that, oh, it's all just build up, it's all going to go away once the house is actually there. So that's I've kind of been ignoring it. I haven't really addressed much of it, to be honest, and I'm kind of flattered that people are talking about it. This was just a wee idea that was cooked up in the head that we were going to do this, and I actually still a wee bit can't believe that it's actually happening.
I suppose it's really up to the influencers, like, once they get in the house to make the magic happen.
Do you think you'll try and do something if it goes well, you'll keep doing it, or will it just be
I have to think about that one. Hopefully.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully, if it goes really, really well, of course we'll do a winter house.
Yeah.
Winter.
Don't tell
It's
Francesca
like
I told you.
A winter wonderland.
A winter wonderland. Yeah. Santa will be at that one.
Yeah.
We'll get Santa to come.
It's a bit mad. Like it is I wouldn't say like it's not like a completely bonkers idea, because obviously you can pull it off.
Yeah.
I think it's just that aspect where when you see stuff like that, especially like over here, you're kind of just a bit like, I don't understand, like, because I don't think people, because we are so behind, like it doesn't feel like there are people from Northern Ireland. I think the normal response is just like, what do you quit a real job or something along lines of that there? Like, you're immediately screwing up your face. That annoy you?
It's a mindset that we have over here. It seems to be widely accepted that creative roles and content creation is a real job in other parts of the world, but it's a mindset that we have here that, I mean, we need to shift.
Yeah.
We need to get out of
Because you've
that
obviously
mindset.
had people commenting on saying that they're going to be destroying the house in some way or other.
Please do not destroy the house. I will call the police.
Location is unknown.
Location is not being disclosed.
Yeah.
We were saying there about the success of it really sort of relies on the influencer. Would you what for someone to come across, would they say, or sorry, if someone said to you like, why can't you do this with the influencers outside the house, what would you say to that? Like, what's the point in put them all in a house together? Can you not do this without the house?
No, so we always kind of say to our clients, right, we work in 3 different ways. So the first is gifting. So that is gifting product to influencers. The second is sponsored. So that is basically when you pay an influencer to post specific content. And the third is events. And that's basically when you get influencers all in the same room at the same time, at an event, at a party, at a brunch. We always find the results for events far outweigh if you had done those, like if you had invited those influencers separately. The buzz that it creates, the kind of FOMO, the kind of like, oh, what, the repetition on socials as well, it creates a far greater effect than if you had all of the influencers there individually. So this is kind of just that on steroids.
Yeah.
Because it's a week, it's them all in a house, it's bigger followings, it's...
Do you find them like getting competitive at all? Like, I know obviously you've only done the Haymarket one so far, but do you find them like being competitive, trying to like sell each other, you know, like get more views than each other, or do you find that sort of?
I'm sure that it is a thing. I mean, I like that. I want you all to get as many views as you possibly can. Like, but yes and no. I think there is like certain influencers that kind of want to grow faster than others. But I mean, they gotta keep it consistent and they gotta keep it genuine as well for their own following.
Yeah. I suppose that's the thing about the house, is that you kind of give people the free reign to create whatever they want, which if you're forcing them to create something,
yeah,
do you know,
it's not going to look
like,
organic.
there's
People
not
are
gonna be
not
that love.
People are going to want to watch the content that's created in the house because it's organic, because they want to see what's happening, and therefore the brands that are involved will get traction from that, whether it's from product placement, whether it's from activities, whether it's from what they're doing or eating or where they're staying. It is creating buzz, and it will create even more buzz once the influencers come in. Like, it's created buzz already, and I mean, from a TikTok account that I set up that had no followers to then getting a lot of traction online. So it will get buzz, and I think it's just something and content that people want to watch and want to share, rather than ads that nobody wants to watch. People do tend to scroll past them. It's just a new, fun, creative way to get brands seen.
Yeah. And how many brands have like sort of signed up to it or are doing things with it?
So I actually do have a number, but I think it's floating around 20.
That's mad. So it's clearly, there is clearly like an appetite for it then.
Yeah.
Like, as well, which is
I
good.
think after the press went out about it last week.
Did you get brands joining from that? Or what?
Yeah, we had a lot of brands reach out to us from that, because it explained, the press release kind of explained really well what it was in simple terms. The word TikTok house, a lot of people can be like, what is it? But then once you explain it, it is quite a simple concept. You get people with large followings in the one place, and it just makes sense. So we did get a lot of traction out of that. Yeah.
The first time I heard of it, the first thing I thought, like, I'm not this, and he's like, remember the council house in Northern Ireland? It was like a group
Yes.
of TikTokers from Belfast.
Yeah.
I was like, no way, are they starting one of these things? But then
Yeah.
obviously realised
Yeah,
it was an
I
actual
didn't
house.
realize you were behind it. When you hear like we obviously have heard of
Yeah.
you, so when you heard it, I was like, oh right, that makes sense. But like, I think what was it I'd seen? It was just something along the lines of like a new TikTok house in Belfast, and immediately I'm thinking, has someone like solo like themselves just been like, I'm gonna start like again like saying like the likes of like the Jack Paul house or like the Team 10 house and all, and someone's been like, you know what, let's clout together, enjoy the house. It's a bit like, what the heck? Like, I think that was it once the initial like words started getting out, but then that article didn't come out like that we had read. It didn't come out that long ago, did it? Or
No, it was probably like last week or the week before, just the end of
did you leaked like a bit of information beforehand, like kind of like
yeah, I'd kind of like announced it on LinkedIn to try and get like a few like sponsors.
right.
I kind of had like dripped a wee bit of information, and I had done like one social post and created the Instagram and stuff to say that there was a TikTok house coming, but there was no information on it. We hadn't announced the headline sponsor or anything like that. So
Did
yeah.
part of you do that all like kind of on purpose? Cause
Yeah,
you
because
kind
I
of
didn't
thought
know
like,
if it was actually gonna happen.
yeah. Did part of you kind of go like, I would say like just like this sort of like giving them this little information will cause people to kind of be like,
Right, what's happening? Is this actually gonna happen?
yeah.
Yeah, it
See?
was tactical. No, I
Smart.
wasn't born yesterday.
Testing
Yeah,
the
we
water.
kind of did. I gave them a wee bit of a drip, and then like I knew that people would start to talk about it, even though I hadn't like publicized the Instagram really. People kind of see it. It comes up on their discovery, and then the influencers were talking about it, and then it wasn't until I actually started posting videos on TikTok and posting stuff on the Instagram, and then the press came out that we got a massive influx of like inquiries from both influencers and from businesses as well. But yeah, it does help if you kind of drip the idea in people's heads before you put out the information.
Yeah. What's the sort of hope for the future of, because obviously in a few years' time it's inevitable that another app will come along, and you know, even everybody says now you can kind of make the argument that Instagram's kind of
Dipping down. Oh yeah.
and then obviously the whole stuff with the meta and stuff like that. Like, what's the future for? Is it just an open book, or?
I don't know what the future's gonna be. The meta I think is gonna be massive.
Yeah,
Is that something
Massive.
you're going to branch into? The metaverse?
a TikTok house
Hopefully
in
in
the
the
metaverse.
Too early to say.
No, in the metaverse, that's initially what some people that I told it thought it was. Thought that we were doing a metaverse house, and I was like, no, it's actually going to be a
niche.
real life house. I haven't figured out how to use the metaverse yet.
Yeah.
But hopefully, yeah, the metaverse is something, and NFTs as well. Have you heard that rumor being floated around about them coming onto Instagram and stuff? It is a very interesting space, and there's definitely a lot of scope for agencies like ourselves to move over. It's who gets there first and who it can get familiar with the platforms first.
It's a difficult thing too, because remember you were saying earlier about the houses, you looked at other houses in America, the UK, whereas with the metaverse you're competing with everybody.
Yeah.
There's no looking at what people have done, and
No, there's not,
from
and it's a space that I'm not familiar with yet. Hands up.
Yeah.
I am not a metaverse user right
Yeah.
now. Hopefully someday I will be, but it's definitely something that we're keeping our eye on.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like, oh no, something new's coming. The transition from Instagram to TikTok was hard enough. Never mind like a whole other like universe online. What?
What happens, and maybe it's something you won't be able to answer, but say Vine went massive, and then obviously Vine went bang, disappeared, and you've seen a few people translate from Vine, like you've likes of Logan Paul and Jack Paul and stuff, who translate it from Vine over to YouTube. So if you are someone at the minute who say, and even someone who's with you guys through your agency,
Yeah.
who's sitting with like 80,000-90,000 over that 500,000 on TikTok.
Are you talking about yourself?
You know what I mean? But no, it's just more like what happens whenever that goes bang. Like,
Yeah.
and if it goes bang, like, do you know what I mean? And you're almost like basing a career off
Off of it.
that.
So what would your would you be saying move on to other platforms, or because there
Don't
isn't
have
really...
it, to be honest, right. So what we found, Instagram is really hard to get engagement on nowadays. It's just a fact. You can't get organic reach on Instagram. It's really, really hard. But what we have found is the people that have the most engaged followers are those who have highly engaged audiences on TikTok that then go on to their Instagram and follow them on Instagram to see their stories, to see their grid posts. We find the highest engaged influencers at the minute are those that have big TikTok followings. And that's who we would kind of recommend our brands use on Instagram. So the fact that they do get that follow transition over to other platforms, we think is a good thing. And YouTube, I think, as well. So I would always recommend you get yourself on YouTube if you're an influencer as well. So for the likes of even Olivia Neal, she's not big because of her Instagram or her TikTok. She is big because people fell in love with her and her personality on YouTube. You can only know so much about a person from Instagram and Instagram stories and TikToks and short videos on TikToks, although they are making them 10 minutes long now. But YouTube is kind of where you get to know someone, you give them a real in-depth feature into your life. So yeah, I would just advise all of our influencers to kind of diversify platforms, which most of them do, and they do grow their Instagram followers alongside their TikTok.
Yeah. Do you think there is, because I don't know the answer to this question, but do you think there is the potential for TikTok to go the same way that Vine went, or do you think it's a more solid platform?
I think it's a more solid platform. I think the fact that they're commercializing it, bringing in TikTok Shop, doing all of the ad stuff. I mean, I know that a lot of brands are jumping on TikTok ads now. They're cheap. They seem a lot but the fact that you can kind of disguise them as TikTok videos, it's kind of a new concept in itself, the fact that they don't look like ads, which I think is a really nice thing for the platform too. But the fact they're commercializing it gives it a better chance of sticking around for longer, I think.
Yeah, I think with Vine, I suppose they rose on the fact that they had done 7-second videos and that was all you got. But TikTok are able to like develop and like odd stories and stuff, whereas Vine was like, that's it, 7 seconds, and at the same time it sort of killed them. Like.
Yeah, I think a lot of people compare Vine to like whenever TikTok came about, it was
TikTok of the 3-minute videos and stuff.
Vine, but it's interesting. It's interesting to see the way the whole thing works, and I'm definitely intrigued to see what's going to come out of the TikTok.
So am I, because I don't know.
Are you rolling with
either.
that name, TikTok House, or is there another like?
No, I'm just rolling with TikTok
House.
TikTok House, the VAVA Club. That's what it's called.
Oh right, okay.
Oh, you didn't even know that.
I didn't even know that. No, like I thought, because all I seen was TikTok House.
TikTok House. No, it's called the VAVA Club.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah.
That makes a lot more sense.
Have you not seen the wee club can logo?
I think I've seen it on TikTok.
You should have called it the VAVA Gaffa.
That's absolutely genius. Do you want a job?
Yes,
you are smart cookie.
I just Shay to do DJ one night. You'll mix some decks.
I've been thinking of that for like the past 2 days.
Do you want to come and mix some decks? We're having a welcome party. Do you want to come and DJ?
Yeah, I'm brilliant to DJ.
Oh yeah. Very good.
You are actually away on holiday.
I am going on holiday in 5 hours.
No.
Sorry.
But thank you so much for coming on, and honestly, good luck with everything, and hopefully no one trashes the house internally or externally, and you make it full the whole experience. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on.
No, thank you very much for having me.
And if you want to follow yourself, it's your Chloë Henning on Instagram, and then obviously VAVA and all that there. You'll find pretty easily.
Hopefully.
But
I'll be seeing a lot more of you in the next week.
Yeah.
Hopefully that as well. Well, we'll see. As long as I don't like pass out or
the next news article is like TikTok people row in Belfast House.
Chloë Henning has a heart attack.
Illegal fight club set up in the backyard. But thank you so much for coming on.